Welcome back to How to Become a Freelancer in 30 Days. This is Anthony Chatfield, and today on day 16 of the program, we're going to talk about how to generate some traffic to your website. The goal of which being to get people in front of all that great content you just created and ensure you start generating leads for your freelance business without having to go out and do a ton of work to find them. All right, so the goals today are going to talk about a little bit about SEO, search engine optimization, and how to get your website ranking in Google, among other places. How to get some great short-term traffic while you work on that, and then how to start creating content that will generate traffic in the future. So I'm going to give you a really basic overview of SEO, search engine optimization for your website. This is a topic that goes on and on forever. If you're a numbers person, if you really like analysis and digging into this kind of information, there is so much out there that you can draw from. Moz.com is awesome. SearchEngineLand.com is awesome. These are great sites. They have a lot of good articles. I'm just going to give you a really brief overview so you understand what Google is looking for when they rank websites in their listings and how you can start tweaking your website to match. So some very basic stuff, top-level stuff. First, you have two factors. There's the stuff on your website, and then there's stuff off of your website. So when Google crawls your website, when they look at everything on it, they're looking at these things. They're looking at the depth, length, and originality of your content. So it needs to be unique. You can't copy it from another website. It needs to be long enough, and long enough usually means about 350 words or longer. And it needs to be in-depth and cover the topic. So if somebody's looking for something and they find your site, it needs to serve the purpose that they're looking for. So ideally, they don't click back. They're also looking for the use of images and media clips to visually represent information that you're putting on there. So that's why I say to add at least one image for every page of your website. A service-oriented website, you don't need a lot of media, but if you start blogging, it's something that can really help you. Navigation and usability, and then mobile friendliness. Google will actually not rank your website at all in mobile search if it's not mobile friendly. Fortunately, all of the different templates and websites that we talked about, the last few days are mobile friendly, so it's not something you have to worry about. But if you're going to get a website built by somebody, it's something to think about. And then navigation, you just want it to be easy for people to get around. If you just follow that really basic navigation structure I showed you from my websites, you should be set. All right, and then off-site factors. Google will rank websites according to how other websites view your site. So what that means is if other people link to you, that's a benefit. It's basically like a vote in their system. They see that other websites, other site owners are saying that yours is useful by linking to it. So the more high authority links you get from trusted websites, the better you're going to do. Also things like related content, active conversation. If people are talking about you, if there's links to your content, if there's discussion about what you can offer, it's going to help you in the search engines. And that's why a lot of the promotional stuff we talk about, it's brand building, but it also helps to build your website so that people can find it more naturally. Some quick ways to speed up the site optimization process. If you're using WordPress, download and install Yoast, WordPress SEO plugin. It's free. You can find it through the plugin portal in WordPress, and it has very basic instructions on how to set it up. And basically, it's going to help you by giving a score for every page or post on your site and telling you exactly what to adjust, whether it's including more keywords or making the post longer or adding an image. It's going to tell you what to adjust and what to change, and it makes it a lot easier and quicker to make sure your site is optimized for the stuff on the actual site. Another very basic thing to do is just creating valuable content that solves problems. This is something you can do through a blog. So if you're considering starting a blog, start thinking about specific problems or questions your target audience has that you can answer. And then finally, you can get a quick audit from a lot of different services, but the two I like are Raven Tools, which is an SEO reporting tool, or HubSpot, which does kind of a more general marketing score, but they will give you some SEO data. Both of those are free. Just search for the Raven Tools audit or HubSpot marketing score, and the pages will show up, and you can run your site through them real quick. Now, the content generation part. This is probably the easiest way to get your site ranking. If you do all the basic stuff, if Yoast SEO says that your site looks good, the only thing you really have to do from there is create good content on a regular basis. So The goal here is to provide useful content that solves problems, is unique, is well written, is long enough, and do it regularly. So I like to recommend every week at a bare minimum. That's a lot. It is a lot, but keep in mind that all that content's going to build up over time and start to snowball. The more content you have, the more people will find, and the better your site will perform. So try to find some way to create new content every week. If you're not a writer, it doesn't have to be written content. It can be a video or a slide share or even a podcast. Just make something that you can release every week. Sharing content can be done through social media accounts. It can be done through direct outreach. Add it to the link in the footer of your email. Distribution and aggregation. There's a lot of websites out there where you can submit content. Places like Digg or StumbleUpon or Reddit. Forums in your industry. These are all places where you can submit content and people will share it and discuss it. And video and slideshare recreations. This is a very easy way to take content you've already created and tweak it a little bit and submit it to YouTube or SlideShare or Vimeo, and people can review that content, share it. They find links back to your website. Very easy, quick, simple SEO win for you. You get new content out there, and you also get new people finding it. All right. And then any kind of content you produce, make sure it has a clear call to action, telling people what you want them to do after they read it, whether it's contact you or download a book you wrote or go to another page and listen to something you recorded. And then have an email list on there so people can sign up and get new information from you as they go. All right. On the other side of things, generating links to your website, there's a few very basic things you can do, and it gets much, 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 much more complicated than this. If you're an SEO or if you know somebody who is, you can really dive in and do a lot of creative things here. But this is the very basic stuff, just so you know what I'm talking about. The goal here is to get authority backlinks from high-ranking sites. And when I say high-ranking sites, I mean a website that's been around for a decent amount of time, has a lot of good content, and that Google respects. So it ranks highly in Google's listings for a lot of different things. Directories and social sites also provide value. Industry forums or websites, blogs that have been around for a really long time. These are all sites that are going to offer solid value to you when you're trying to build out your audience. Networking with other bloggers and business owners. If you meet other bloggers, if you share content, if you comment on their posts, if you can get a link from one of them on their sites, that's huge for you. So it's worth all that effort to even just for that one link. If you're networking locally, this makes things a lot easier because you might meet somebody who already has a website and you can just ask them for that link. And then creating off-site content that provides value. Again, talking about like YouTube and SlideShare, those are great backlinks as well as content. So if you're creating good content there and you link it back to your website, you're killing two birds with one stone. In terms of outreach, there's a lot of ways to get a hold of people. The key is just to make sure you're providing value. You don't just want to get a backlink out of it. You want to help people. If your goal is always to help people, it's to provide good content and help them, then the outreach is going to work more effectively. And a lot of people are going to be willing to put links to your website on theirs if you're offering value. Now, if you're in a hurry and you have some money to spend, you can pay for traffic. It's not always worth paying for, but if you need traffic immediately, so, for example, if your service is very expensive and very niche, let's say you do some specialty design work for high-tier accountants that very few people can do, or maybe you work with a platform, a brand new programming platform that very few people have worked with. You can pay for that traffic. You can go to Google and you can say, I'm willing to pay for, listing for accounting design packages or something. And it's going to cost you per click. So if somebody clicks on that ad, you're going to pay for it. But that's much more targeted traffic and you can get it immediately. There are other ways to pay for traffic. You can pay for social traffic on Twitter, Facebook, StumbleUpon, Reddit, LinkedIn. All those sites offer paid traffic options. It'll be anywhere between $1 and $4 per click on there. And again, it can be pretty targeted because you can target people based on their demographics. There's direct advertising. You can run a display ad, a newsletter block that goes out in an email. You can pay for solo ads in some people's mailing lists. There's a lot of places to do that. If you go to buysell-ads.com, you can find a lot of display ad options. Or if you go to Warrior Forum, there's a lot of people who sell space in their newsletters. And as a freelancer, Selling to marketers and online entrepreneurs is a great way to get started because they all need what you offer. And then retargeting. Once you start advertising, or once you get a decent amount of traffic to your website, you can start retargeting. And if somebody visits another website, they'll see an ad for yours based on their behavior. I know I'm jamming in a lot there, but I just kind of want to give you an overview of what your options are. You can do a lot more research on what each of these things offers based on if you have a budget and what you want to get out of it. All right, so for today, I want you to create a quick SEO action plan, which should really just involve going through your website and making sure everything that you've already put up there matches kind of the goals that we've talked about so far. Set clear goals and target keywords related to your new business. Ideally, at this point, you already know what those things are, and you're just going to be tweaking your content accordingly. If you're going to be posting regularly to a blog or off-site, create an editorial calendar for regular new content. This is how you're going to make sure that people can find you more effectively. And then if you're going to pay for traffic, start thinking about where and how much you're going to spend. All right, so that's everything for today. If you have any questions or need any additional information on anything we talked about in today's presentation, give me a shout out here in the comments or contact me directly. And if you haven't yet, make sure to leave a review and comments for the program as a whole. Love your feedback and appreciate you watching. All right, so that's everything for today. We will talk tomorrow.